In Norse mythology, Thor, the legendary hammer-wielding god, was actually 75% Jötunn, a member of the very race he spent his life battling. The Jötnar were not just towering, oversized beings, but a complex and diverse race, with some as cunning as Loki, who was also a Jötunn. This ancient conflict between gods and giants began with the death of the first giant, Ymir, whose body was used to forge the universe itself. The cosmic struggle between these forces culminates in Ragnarök, where the fire giant Surtr will set the world ablaze, only for it to be reborn in the endless cycle of destruction and creation. But what if some Norse giants survived the cataclysms and still exist among us, hidden in the far reaches of the world, awaiting their time? What would their return mean for us? Chilling stillness fills the air as a pair of archaeology duo, led by Dr. Elias Hawthorne, traverses the rocky terrain with his assistant student Amy.
These mountains haven't been studied in decades. There's something here, I know it.
You were so excited about the expedition to Norwegian Trolltunga, but I have to agree with this place. It's like time forgot it.
The duo move deeper into the mountains. Among the rocks, they find ancient bones, massive and fossilized, unlike anything human. The ground is filled with strange, weathered remains, giant ribs, vertebrae, and skull fragments.
These can be human. Look at the size of this thing.
These bones. They're not from any modern species we know. They're too large, but maybe it's one of the ancient bears?
A chill runs through the group as they realize they're standing in the middle of something far older and darker than they could have imagined.
Whatever lived here has been gone for centuries, right? Maybe, but something about this place feels strange. What is that?
Dr. Hawthorne approaches cautiously, shining a flashlight into the cave.
This wasn't just a resting place. Something was held here. Something enormous.
A few weeks later, after the discovery of the bones, Amy and Dr. Hawthorne is at the coastline, joined by a few remaining students from university. The group has been haunted by strange dreams and whispers since the excavation in the mountains. They've been drawn to the lake by rumours of locals, something even more unbelievable. Its pale grey skin glistens in the moonlight, and water covers its form like it has been submerged for centuries.
It's the same, just like the bones, but it has a whole form. Was it alive?
Dr. Hawthorne steps forward, almost hypnotised by the sight. He studies the giant's lifeless form, tracing his fingers over strange markings etched into its skin, symbols that match the carvings from the mountains.
Did it just move?
It's trying to communicate.
Suddenly the giant's eyes flicker open, glowing with an ethereal light. Its deep voice rumbles through the air, speaking an ancient language.
Jötunn,
In a flash, she remembers the unsettling dreams she's been having since the bones were found. Visions of giants walking on the ancient earth, of death and destruction. Amy, a middle school student, walks through the empty streets of her small town. Unexplained disappearances and a sense of foreboding grip her. The missing of her mother lingers in her thoughts, and she struggles with feelings of helplessness. A figure appears in the distance, tall, silent, watching her. In her dreams, this figure had always been a giant, its presence overwhelming, as if it was always waiting for her.
They will come for you.
Amy shakes her head, trying to push the memory away, but the fear is still there. The figure approaches, disguised in shadows, but as it nears, the face is familiar. It's her mother. She realizes she's been running from herself, from fear of becoming the reason her mother disappeared. Amy snaps back to reality, standing in front of the giant, her breath ripped.
You are one of us.
No, it can't be.
Amy, what is it saying?
The whispers from the mountains, the dreams, the drowned giant, they're all connected. She suddenly remembers the rusted chain from the cave, realizing that the giant wasn't just a god or a relic of the past, it had been imprisoned.
We have to get out of here. It's not what we think. It was trapped for a reason.
What are you talking about?
The giant suddenly rises, slowly towering over them, its massive form casting floods the coastline. Water and sand cascade off its body, and its glowing eyes fix on Amy.
Return to where you belong.
Elias, we have to go, now!
But Dr. Hawthorne is entranced by the giant, unable to move as it steps toward him. In a sudden burst of movement, the giant reaches down, grabbing him in one massive hand. The giant is gone. Amy stands alone, staring at the massive footprints leading back into the ocean. Her eyes are hollow, distant. She looks out at the sea, knowing the truth. She's connected to them, in ways she is the reason Dr. Hawthorne disappeared.